What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm MoedotJ. We're locked in. This is episode 9 of The Shop. Now, I know last week we seen Christian take Keisha out, and everybody's like, man, that Christian guy, he seems kind of weird. Maybe he's the kidnapper's son or something. Like, why can't it just be a genuine dude? We ain't got no good dudes on the show. Maybe Christian is that guy. But we also seen that Jake and Kev, they kind of squashed their beef, but we're going to see where that goes. Before we get into today's episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you can be a part of it. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Now, this week, we're moving forward. We want to see if Jake and Kev, they actually squashed their beef. We know Emmett is going through it with Tiffany, and he just told her last week, I'm done with all of it. So we're going to pick up from there, and we're going to see how everybody in the Shop acts. This is episode 9 of The Shop. I'm rolling down a lonely highway. I'm asking God to please forgive me. That's how we start the episode off. Kev and Papa, they in here, these two wilding out, singing some Jagged Edge because they both lost their girls. Unfortunately for Kev, he lost his to his best friend Jake, and Papa, he lost his to the fame. Now they in here singing because they're just heartbroken. So this shows you everything that Papa has been telling Kev hasn't been working. In the other room, Keisha just laid down baby Ronnie, and Christian texts her, hey you, I miss you, been thinking of you. She calls him a liar. If I was Christian, I would have responded with, I just text you. So obviously I was thinking of you. Me personally, I don't go back and forth on text messages like that, but they're young, you know what I'm saying? So they still in that early stage. Me, I'd have been like, all right, well, I wasn't thinking of you then, but it's neither here or there. She's trying to keep Ronnie asleep while she's flirting with Christian, but what? Hey, Kev, turn that music down. She tells Kev and Papa to turn the music down. Kev picks up the speaker and turns the music up. Now, I know how it is to have two older sisters. I would have been like, hey, no one told you to keep that, baby. We in here jamming. Shoot, get up out of my face with that nonsense. Now, I love my nephews. I used to watch my nephews, so there's no disrespect. But your sister knows what you mean when you say that. But like, hey, get out my face with that bull. Everybody knows Emmett's going through it. So he goes to his other baby mama's house. Now, what I don't like about this is they're not giving any accountability to the women. Emmett's like, what can I do? I'm trying to make sure my marriage works. And she's like, oh, man, you know, let her have some fun. Pretty much let her be a hoe. Let her do what she wants. Let her have some fun because you were bad to her. But all this was before they got married. He's changed and he doesn't want to deal with that no more. But she's just like, oh, yeah, let Tiff do that. And she said, well, you know, I'm going on a date. So Emma's like, all right, as long as he's treating you good, you should be all right. And she's like, yeah, he treated me better than what you did. And he makes a joke talking about, yeah, I set the bar pretty low. She's like, yeah, you did, but no accountability. If the bar was that low, then you need to be responsible for talking to Emmett for having the bar that low and letting him knock you up. But that's neither here or there. So she still has love for Emmett, and she wants to make sure that Emmett and his relationship works. So she also gives him a scarf to take to his mom because she knows about the cancer. Mr. Otis, the mayor, he's back. He's walking, recovering from a gunshot. Now he's talking to Trigg. When you listen to this conversation, you would be like, oh, it sounds like Otis is trying to change his life. He's saying he wants to be more involved in what Jake got going on. And Trigg tells him, hey, you're not his real dad. I'm his guardian. Don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of him. One thing we know about Otis is whenever he does something, it's to benefit him. He doesn't really care about anything else because he's from the streets. He just made it political now. So if he can benefit from something, you know he's going to try to maneuver it so he can, you know what I'm saying, come up. Marcus comes in. This is Jim's dad. And he's talking to Otis like, Otis, what the hell? You didn't defund the police. We lost the bid for the Olympics. You were supposed to be in this place to do something big for the city, something iconic for the city. And you messed it all up. And Otis is sitting back like, man, forget them Olympics. Who cares? Because Otis, at the end of the day, is all about Otis. And what Marcus is trying to say is like, hey, we helped you get this position as the mayor to do bigger things so all of us could benefit from it. But Otis is just like, yeah, whatever. And then Marcus, he says, well, unfortunately, you're still alive. And this right here just pisses Otis off. He's like, get the hell out of my office. Dang, man, how you gonna look somebody in the eye and tell them, unfortunately, you're still alive? Trigg, he has to chase down Marcus and talk to him because we know he has a program going on within the city also. With the police to fund it, Trigg's organization is really what's running the city, and he's like, Marcus, I need help. Like, what can I do? And he's saying, the help you need is to get Otis out of office because he's just a nigga in a suit. He's a crook. He's a criminal. He's from the streets. And Marcus is saying, I'm not dealing with him anymore. So Trigg is like, oh my God. Otis wants to be in my life. Marcus doesn't want to deal with him. We got to figure something out. My man Darnell, he pulls up on Jada. Now they do have a son together, and their relationship is good. They're not together, but their relationship's always been, for the most part, good. When they see each other, they talk and they have a conversation. Now he pulls up to the house and he's just talking to her because he knows what she's going through, and he's joking around because we know Darnell has a sense of humor that's not typically what you would call the norm. He jokes around like, "What do you got, cancer and pneumonia?" Because she's talking about, you don't know how to dance and I put you on this music. So it's good to see that these two are together talking and actually enjoying what time they do have together. They go down memory lane and Darnell admits, I never meant to hurt you. I just didn't know any better back then. So Jada does tell him at one point she couldn't stand him, but they're all past that. And over the last year and a half, she says she does like the presence of him being around them more and being more involved now. So sometimes it takes that time that you got to get over to actually come together and figure things out. So they joke around about Emmett and how messed up he is, and hopefully that his marriage with Tiffany works, because that's all you want to see is your child being happy. And then, Jada, she's like, oh, the cancer. She gets Darnell to massage her feet. So unfortunately, sickness does bring people together, but it's good to see these two actually talk. Over at Smokey's, Papa got called in early. He's like, man, I'm supposed to be off, man. What are you doing, Emmett? Emmett's like, look, you got to handle this after school rush if you want to become this assistant manager. He's over here hitting the little iPad like, hey, man, it ain't working. This ain't 1950. This iPad is just, hey, press the home button, close the app, open it back up, Papa. That's all you got to do. Gemma, she's down in the slums hanging out with Jake all the time now. And he's in there shooting the basketball. She's running over a list of things. He ain't paying no attention now. The only thing I heard her say was she needed to get her dad a birthday gift. But other than that, I wasn't even paying attention to Gemma. Trigg pulls up with the G-Wagon. He's like, hey, tosses Jake the keys. Like, here you go. Now, he's giving him the car for the night to go to the spring fling. He's like, oh, shoot. So Jake looks at Gemma and says, you want me to tell you what you was listing off? She's like, yeah. He's like, I don't remember. Let's hop in the whip. Let's get up out of here. I was like, shoot, we got the G-Wagon. That little list you making, complete the list. Just show me what's on the list and let's go. I'm not going to repeat what you said because I wasn't paying no attention. The first thing Jake does is, hey, you get the whip. I used to get my dad's truck. First thing you do is you got to go pick up the boys. So he pulls up on Kev. He pulls up on Papa, and Papa's like this. He ain't blocking no light out of it. Like, you supposed to put the thing down like this. First thing they do when they hop in the car, Jake hands each one of them a blunt. You see Papa put his in his jacket. He like, hey, roll the windows down. My dad, I can't come home smelling like this weed. And does Trigg know you got the truck? Jake like, yeah, he gave it to me. I'm taking Gemma to the spring fling. And they all look at Kev and he's like, okay, if you do, you need to clean this thing up. And they're like, yeah, this thing is very, very junky. So before they dip out, because Kev is going to walk home with Papa, Jake looks at him like, are we good? He's like, yeah, they dap each other up. It's like, it don't seem like Kev is really over it yet. We know Marcus isn't really liking Gemma dating Jake. And one of these reasons is because Jake is affiliated with Otis. And him and Otis aren't seeing eye to eye. And not only that, Jake lives at Trigg's house and it's kind of in the slums. You know what I'm saying? It's in the hood. It's not bad, but you know how it is. So he's trying to convince his daughter, hey, you need to get focused, you know what I'm saying? Complete everything so we can get you into an Ivy League school. And now she's saying, oh, I don't want to go there. She probably wants to go to HBCU or something. But he's like, look, I'm trying to put you in a position to have a a successful life because he sees the road she's going down. He may know that she's a little fast, but he's not going to say that because it's his daughter. Kev isn't really over Gemma yet. We seen him confess his love last week, but he also has Lanae in his life, and he's on the video game talking with her. And from the last interaction we seen with them, she was kind of playing it like, oh, we just cool. It ain't nothing more than that when he asked her for a date. And I told y'all she gave him her number because she's actually interested. Now, when they're on the phone, she's asking him, oh, what are you thinking about? He's like, oh man, my ex is going on a date with my best friend to the fling. And she's like, oh, so that's why you called me? You're thinking about them? He's like, oh no, it's nothing like that. And they just start playing the video game together, and they get that conversation going. Because as of right now, she's just a friend for Kev to talk to. But more than that, wink, wink. I don't even know how. Wink, wink. Emmett takes Keisha with him to this open house because he's looking for a house that he's going to buy for his mom. Because he always said he was going to buy one for his mom. Now, Keisha, she comes along with baby Ronnie. She's like, oh, I hope my son buys me a house one day. That's one thing we got to stop in the black community. Yes, it's good for your kids to get you a house once they made it. But it's up to the parents to try to give the kids a life that they can grow into something. They shouldn't have to worry about taking care of their parents. The parents' job is to raise a kid and give them the best opportunity. That's one thing we got to start doing in the black community, because you see it all the time. Oh, I hope my kid, you shouldn't depend on your child. You need to set up a life for them so it can be easier for them. Now, the realtor, she tells Emmett, oh, if you want this house, you might need to make a cash offer, because that'll bypass all the paperwork. Because it's like, hey, I got cash right here, and we all know cash is better than waiting on that check to clear. You bring me that money, I'm good. But she notices Keisha, and she says, oh, I know your story. Emmett says she's not trying to talk about that. She said, I'm sorry, but your motivation for women that are survivors, because we know Keisha went through a lot and she was traumatized through that. She has this baby that's going to remind her of that every single day. But the realtor's just saying, hey, thanks for you for being strong and continuing on with life, because that encourages other women that go through the same thing. And Keisha never looked at it like that. Jake, on the other hand, he got to clean up the G-Wagon. He ain't worried about what no one got going on. Hit the blunt one time. Vacuum up this G-Wagon. Now, this is a Mercedes G-Wagon. Over 100K. This thing is junky like a Dodge Neon with 10 kids in it. It's just food in the seats, pop cans on the floor. I'm like, man, ain't no way Trigg is driving this dirty. Kev got a little game. He ended up talking Lanae into coming over to the house and playing the actual game. Now, they're there, but he's losing to her. We know when they first met, he was whooping her in the game. Now his head ain't in the game. He's thinking about Gemma and Jake. And she's like, man, it's boring beating you. So he offers her, hey, well, let's go to a little spring fling together and look at white people try to get their rhythm. So you can tell that he's trying to get past this, but at the same time, he still wants to see what Gemma and Jake are doing. He's suspended from the school, so I don't know how he's going to get on the school grounds, let alone get into the spring fling. Like, they would have been like, hey, you don't go to school here no more. Get up out of here, kid. It's spring fling time. My boy Jake got cleaned up. Gemma looking good. Got the afro done. We got Marcus and Trigg over here playing fathers, and they just taking pictures. But you can hear Marcus saying, man, they're an odd couple, man. I don't know if they should be with each other. Trigg's like, what's wrong with them? There's nothing wrong with them. It's just Marcus not wanting her to be involved with Jake because of everything he's around. Marcus knows. He knows that Otis is a street guy. He knows what Trigg be doing too. Because no one with power just looks over at another man like, how did he come up like this? You know what they doing in these streets. Otis ends up pulling up. We know he told Trigg that he wants to be a little bit more involved with Jake. Now, this little triple threat we have here, Marcus, Trigg, and Otis, it's a weird situation. Marcus and Otis aren't seeing eye to eye on business. Trigg and Otis aren't seeing eye to eye when it comes to Jake. Marcus and Trigg aren't seeing eye to eye when it comes to Jake and Gemma. So it's a little bit weird. And Trigg, he's telling Otis, oh, don't worry about it. I'll send you the pictures I already got. Because he doesn't want his influence to be on Jake. Now, Jake is young. He don't know what's going on. He's just like, oh, thanks, Otis, for showing up. But it's time for us to get up out of here. Miss Octavia shows back up at the house and she's bringing everything that she had for baby Ronnie and she's giving it to Keisha. Now, Keisha, she didn't know how she was going to react to this because she just took her baby back from her. But what she tells Keisha is, I could never hate you because this is your child. This is what you wanted. So Keisha gives her the actual first photo that she took of her holding baby Ronnie. And she's just trying to tell Keisha, this is the decision you made and I'll always be there. So for baby Ronnie, Octavia would kind of be like a godmother unofficially, you know? She's going to always be there for Keisha because she loves the child just like it was going to be her own. And she's trying to get Keisha to understand sometimes you do have to be a little selfish, but everything you're doing is for baby Ronnie. And she also tells her, come by the office and I'll help you, put in some applications because her working at the little thrift store isn't going to be enough to get by. So once she gets a rhythm with the child, she understands his times and his little schedule that he's on. He gets a little bit older. Come to the office. I'm going to help you get you a real job. We at the spring fling. Jake the Snake is down there dancing on Jimba. They getting it, you know what I'm saying? But up at the top, we got, hold on, wait a minute. Kev, you don't go to school here. Kev and his new thing up there just to watch. Out of nowhere, Jake stops dancing. Hold on, Jimma. We got to go back to your house. My bag got the weed in it. If your dad finds that, it is over. And Jimma's like, but we're going to miss half the party. Jake is like, the hell with this party. I'm not trying to get my weed found. So they got to dip about this thing. Back at the house, though, Marcus and Otis, they're having a little man-to-man over what it looks like is some whiskey or some rum. Now, what's the saying? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. These two, they worked together because they needed each other. But at the same time, Marcus always knew Otis was from the street, and he never really respected that. But you know how it is. It's who you know. So if you can tie yourself with somebody and move yourself up, it's kind of like a slingshot. You know what I'm saying? You get here, and then they come up right here, and then they, you know what I'm saying, they move on up. But these two, they get in an argument over a lot of things. They argue about the affair that Otis had. They argue about Otis being in the streets. Otis killing an innocent person, Brandon. Otis misappropriating government funds, defunding the police. But the thing that triggers them both is Marcus brings up Jake. I don't want him around my daughter. And Otis says, well, Jimma, she might actually be the problem. And this is where it gets ugly. Marcus hits Otis right in his stuff. Bow! Okay. But Otis gets back. He takes that cane. Bow! He falls down and he's just whooping on him now. Bow, 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 bow. I'm like, damn, Otis is not playing around. But it's about to be a bloody scene in here. I tell you that. Jake and Nubu, they walk around because the spring fling was actually kind of whack. Now, they're walking around and they're just telling each other what they want to be and how life is for them. And Jake is saying, at this school, I really don't like it because I have to pretend to be somebody. I have to be an overachiever. And that's not who he is. He just wants to be Kev. You see, he's at the house. He's telling his mom and Dre, hey, look, cut me some slack. Let me do what I want to do. So he felt like he was pretending at this little private school. Trigg is in here. He's like, come on, Marcus. Come on, stay alive. Damn it, Otis, what did you do? And Otis is just sitting there with his cane like, man, I did what I had to do. Matter of fact, Trigg, let that man die. Leave him right there. Trigg's like, I got to call the police. He's like, nah, don't call the police. Just let him bleed out. But Jake and Jim end up pulling up, and Jake goes in the house to get his bag. When he comes in, he sees Trigg holding Marcus, and he looked and he spooked. And Otis is still over there like, what's up, Jake? Stroking his cane, cleaning the blood off of it. Jake runs up out of it. And Trigg is like, man, what are you doing? Otis said, just let him bleed out. He shouldn't have disrespected me. And plus, he hit me first. But Otis just took it too far. At this point, Jake is traumatized. He hops back in the G-Wagon. It's clean, too. He hops in the G-Wagon. And Jim was like, hey, are you okay? She's like, yeah, let's just get out of here. She says, will my dad sleep? He should have looked over there. He was asleep all right. The long sleep. The upper room when Jesus was. That's what he should have said, because Marcus ain't gonna make it don't look like. Darnell, Jada, and Emmett. They're all at the house. Darnell cooked. He just got Jada off her feet because, she has a cancer and he wanted to do something for her. So they all sat at the table. They ate. They had a good time, just reminiscing things. But Emmett, he's looking over at Darnell like, hey, Darnell, can you line me up? And Jada says, me too. And this is when she shows that she cut off all her hair. And Darnell, he's like, you know what? I got you. Because at this point, I told you, sickness brings people together. And it makes you look back at all the times that you missed out. And it makes you regret all the things that you didn't do when they were healthy. Put it like that. They get back to Kevin's house and he offers her some clothes in his bed so she can sleep in. He's being a gentleman. He turns around so she can change. Now, the reason he gives her that is because he knows what she goes through. She stays at home with her brother and her brother's girlfriend. But when her brother is gone on the road doing what he does, her and the girlfriend, they don't get along. So she's going to stay the night over here with Kev. And he goes ahead and he takes the floor. But before they go to sleep, she actually gets down on the floor with Kev, snuggles up a little close to him and kisses him on the cheek. And fellas, this is what I'm telling you. Be you. Don't, anything that Papa is telling you, don't do that. All that queen and I'm going to be here, do all that. Be who you are. If the woman likes you, she'll come to you just like this. Gemma, she's running around chasing everything. But this right here is genuine because Kevin is being Kevin and he's not being something he isn't. Look at my boy Kev. You'll learn it, and that's why I said he needed to go through what he went through with Gemma at an early age, so you'll know what to do and what not to do moving forward when it comes to women. All right, there you go. Episode 9. What I want to know is, what do you guys think is going to happen with Marcus? Is he going to survive? And if he does survive, is he going to tell? And if he doesn't survive, who is going to be placed with that murder? You think Trigg is going to be doing some snitching? Let me know what you think below. But hey, I'm MoedotJ. Thanks for watching. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. Thanks for watching again. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.